Lauren, you might be a strategic kid, and I know that if we get you, and it's not because you're better than anybody else or that we love you more, but the whole soccer team will go. I'm talking about the boys' soccer team. If we can get you to go, so well, we're gonna. And by the way, I'm not using her. I'm just recognizing a reality. Jim Rayburn recognizes some kids will bring other kids. So let's get those bringers there, and then build from there. Now, a lot of times with these strategy sessions, here's how it works. Let's say I'm a leader and I want Bill to go to camp. And Bill's just saying, no, I don't want to, and he's not really giving me a reason. And then Lauren goes, well, I heard Bill talking, and Bill really doesn't want to go unless his girlfriend Betty Jean goes. And so I said, okay, I don't know Betty Jean in here very well. Who knows her? Caitlin goes, yeah, Betty Jean's on my list to go. I really want her to go, but she doesn't want to go unless her two other friends, Bobby Joe and Betty Joe, I'm just making up these names as I go. They're not very good names anyway, but, well, no offense, I guess that's probably a good name for somebody, but anyway. Okay, so, but they don't want to go, and somebody says, well, Betty Joe doesn't want to go because George, his boyfriend, isn't wanting to go, and then Matt goes, wait a minute, I think and Matt's a campaigner, he says, I think I can get George to go. And so he goes and talks to George, and we're all praying our rears off for all this to happen, by the way. And then so Matt goes and talks to George. We get George in. George talks to Betty Joe, who also says, okay, well, George, if you're going, then I'm going to go. And then Bobby Joe says, I'll go too, because they're all kind of three amigos. And then Betty Joe says, well, I have to go. And then who are we trying to get in the first place? Bill, that's right. I love Bill. I want him to go. And so pretty soon everybody's going. And you guys, I want you to get a hold. This is how kids do. This is how kids sign up. So it's not just a bunch of us marching out single file, asking one kid and coming back. Kids are so interconnected. And so we have to know them. That means we're going to spend a lot of time talking about it. A lot of your leadership time talking about how are we getting along with Billy Joe and Bobby Joe and George and Bill and all of these things. Okay. Can you give me about 7 more minutes? I know we're over the edge. Is that okay? I know we're all hungry. Anybody say? See, no one has the guts to absolutely say no. So,
well, you just talked to us about how not to say no.
Okay, good. I love it. I want to talk a little bit about parents. Wildlife people understand how important parents are to getting kids to camp. I'm not sure who in here is wildlife. You guys get it. I mean, a kid would go to the moon if you ever sign up for a trip to the moon. Oh yeah, I mean, for a middle school kid, they'll do anything. But their parents don't want them to do. We understand in middle school and wildlife that we've got to sell it to parents, but we don't understand it in young life, and we need to start. Young life is in senior high. Parents are so important in this quotient. Part of the reason they're important is because parents usually pay for all or most of it. It's a given. But more than that, parents usually have really a deep amount of influence on a kid on this type of decision. Now I'm going to say something a little wilder. Parents care more about their kid than anybody else. Now sometimes we walk around thinking we care the most about them because we're their young life leaders and we pray for them a bunch. But I will tell you, in God's economy, He kind of put parents, and there are exceptions to this rule, okay? But in God's economy, He's put parents in a place for a reason. Actually, the parents are the ones who God's given authority over their kids. And so we need to respect that. When we do respect it, we need to understand what's important to parents. And there's three things that are important to them. One is trustworthiness of leaders and staff in the Young Life program in general. And I'm not going to talk about it other than hang out with parents a little bit and do some contact work, and that will help you be trusted. Next basketball game you go to, go and talk to a parent. It'll only have to be for a minute or two. Start with the parents you know, and then walk away. That parent will tell the other 11 parents who the heck you are. But talk to parents because they need to be able to trust us. I don't have time to go into that in much more detail, but the parent will also look at the benefit to the kid and the cost. And the cost partly is money, but mostly, well, part of it is that they miss their kids. You ever have an idea, did you ever think when you were a kid that your parents might miss you if you're gone for a week? You know that parents really do miss their kids if they're gone for a week. They might not tell you, but they really do. The cost might be a missed family vacation or a moved family vacation. The cost to a parent might be missed time with sports or other activities that they think you really need to be doing. Sort of the responsibility thing. It might be missed obligations at work. But in today's economy, I would say that money is a big cost issue to a parent. We need to respect that, but at the same time, there's a couple principles. What we need to do is find ways to give the parent and the kid hope that they can go, that they have enough money to go. One of the things I found is that people can often, what people can afford is often more of an attitude than actual. I've seen people who, for instance, say, I can't afford $500 for camp, but then I would actually see them spending a fair amount of money on other discretionary stuff. And I'm not saying that to judge, I'm just saying what I found is that if you can give a parent hope, for instance, that a kid can do a fundraiser and have a little buy-in to it, it happens all the time. The kid will go out and they'll raise 50 bucks. And the parent makes up the difference. Amazingly, they found a way to do it. And there's a reason for that, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But it has to do with benefit. But a lot of times, if you can give a parent a hope, they'll take the step, they'll eventually step into getting the kid to camp. But beyond that, I think sometimes for some kids, you will have to help a kid raise some money. Now there's two ways to do that. One way is, I've got these fundraisers, I want you to sign up for it and go and do it, and it'll be great. I got to tell you, that doesn't work very well. When you're talking to a kid that's not convinced that he wants to go to Young Life Camp in the first place and saying, for your immortal soul, this will really help you, and here are the fundraisers to do this. They won't do it. They don't like to do it. But sometimes if you can tell, Deshaun, man, come on here. Come on up here with me. Listen, I want you to, don't be afraid. I want you to go with, you're going to be on podcast or whatever it is. I want you to go with me, so here's what we're going to do. I've got it planned. We can do this car wash thing. You and I can do this together. As a matter of fact, I even know some people that I'm going to hit up to give some money. But I'm going to help you raise it. No, you can say that. I just brought him up because I just love Sean. He's awesome. Did you get what I did there? It was a difference between you go and do fundraisers. It was, I'm going to do fundraisers with you. You are so important to me that I'm going to put myself on the line. Now, here's my question. Are you willing to put yourself on the line? How many of you guys in here drink Starbucks coffee? A few of you do. How many of them would you say you drink a month?
7 or 8.
How many? 7 or 8? Yeah. I'm not picking on Starbucks. Here's what I'm saying, though. We spend a lot of discretionary money. Are you guys willing to do without Starbucks for a semester? put that money towards getting a kid partway to camp? Are you willing to ask a relative or a friend to help sponsor a kid for some money?